Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Bows & Company. I am your host, Emily O, and today we are doing something very out of the ordinary. It is going to be a solo episode. Hello, I do not have a co-host with me today. It is just Emily O, and you and I are going to be spending an episode together. I've actually been wanting to do this for a bit, and what I never want the show to be is a burden to our wonderful co-hosts who I've been rotating, but the family's a little busy right now. I really thought that this would be a great time for you and I to just kind of sit down. I am still recording on video if you prefer to watch on YouTube. And I actually, I just moved the other microphone onto the floor and kind of scooched in the middle, and it feels a little odd sitting in the middle of the table. And I'm also home by myself, So this is all very peculiar, just talking to the microphone alone. But I did ask you all to ask me questions on Instagram, which was very sweet. So I figured we would spend an episode together. And I think with the volume of shows that I'm putting out, it would be probably in our best interest for me to kind of practice this solo episode muscle a bit and kind of sprinkle these in just because with scheduling and whatnot, I think we could have a great time together. So let's get into this solo episode. I'm still going to start with bows and lows. I have had such a great week. The fact that I'm recording this on a Thursday for our second episode of the week, I cannot believe how fast these weeks are going by and how fast November is going by because I love November. In fact, wait a minute. I need to look up, when does Sagittarius season start? I think, oh my gosh. Okay, Sagittarius season starts on the 21st or the 22nd. So we are heading into Sagittarius season, which is so exciting. But yeah, I'm kind of sad that November is flying by so quickly because it's my birthday month and it's just such a festive time of year. So I would say that my low is that November is just flying by. But I would say that my bow, what would my bow be? I feel like I've just had such a fun week down in the studio. I know I said it for the last episode, but truly the holiday collection is such a bow and seeing all of those orders. So yeah, that is my bow and my low for today. And let's get into some of the questions. So the first question is, if you weren't an influencer, what would your job be? This is such a good question. Sometimes I do think about this. So I went to Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, and I studied, my major was called Emerging Technology, Business and Design. And then I had a minor in entrepreneurship in the business school. So my major was centered all around kind of like the back end side of things. So we learned a ton about UX, UI design, website, social media. I took a lot of coding classes. It was really an amazing major and I loved it so much. And I felt like everybody who was in the major was super open to kind of everything that was coming really rapidly at the time. I graduated in 2022. So obviously from 2018 to 2022, there was a lot that kind of came out. Obviously social media was on the rise. TikTok was on the rise. It was kind of in the beginning of when AI was, in discussion. And I always felt like everyone in the major was very with it and very ahead of kind of what was going on, which was really cool. And everyone in my major now has really cool jobs in social media. It wasn't so much marketing. There was a whole department in our major of like gaming and coding. And a lot of the kids who were in my major went on to do like light design for different concerts, or they went on to do, I don't know, like technology sales. So it was very niche and it was really fun. And the space, Miami's campus is so pretty. It's honestly it's one of the prettiest college campuses I think that I've ever seen. Not that I've been to a ton of colleges, but it's just so stunning. And the building that the major was kind of like headquartered in, I always laughed and I'm like, it kind of looks like Google. Like everything that they had was just very progressive in a way. So I loved my major. I loved Miami. So if I had not pursued influencing full time, I most likely would have done some sort of social media management for a digital media company, a brand, something like that. And then I loved my entrepreneurship minor as well. That was such a good balance for me. And I really do feel like I use my major and minor every single day. And actually my last semester of school, so it was my second semester senior year, my major had a program where you could get the rest of your credit through, if you already had an existing business, that counted as classes and hours. So that was also very cool. So I probably, like I said, would be doing some sort of social media management, digital media for another brand if I had not pursued influencing full time. However, I feel like eventually I would have left that and pursued Emily on Bows full time. So I really am happy with how this all led, because especially now in 2025, Forbes just came out with an amazing article about how women are choosing entrepreneurship so much more in this year. And you just see how much money is getting pumped into content creation and influencing, and how much money is driven by female content creators and influencing. So it's not going away. In fact, it's only ramping up. And the fact that I already have a little seat at this table is something that I don't take for granted at all. And I'm very happy that I stuck with it, because just like anything else, I think it's only getting harder. I don't think it's impossible. Obviously, I think if you're thinking of content creation, I encourage everyone to do it. But I'm so happy that I stuck with it, because building a brand does not happen overnight, and it takes many, many years. And I am just so grateful for how far we've come from school. But yes, that's probably the answer. That was such a long, this is going to be a taste into what these solo episodes are going to be like. I keep waiting for someone else next to me to say something, but I'm like, wait a minute, I have to keep speaking, which I love. All right, this next question: you're so good at romanticizing your life. How do you do it? Also loving your new content. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. I feel like I don't intentionally romanticize it. I feel like everyone in my family is super close and we love to have fun. So that kind of comes naturally to us. But I definitely think going to get a coffee throughout the day, or just dressing up every single morning, listening to nice music in the morning or the evening, getting to bed early, having like a really good skincare routine or makeup routine, or, lighting a candle when you're cooking dinner, all of those little things add to romanticizing your life and are already tasks I enjoy doing. So I would suggest that. I don't think I start my day with, how am I going to romanticize it? I think it just comes natural. We naturally like to talk and have a good time, and kind of enjoy creating spaces that are really relaxing and calming, and just kind of cultivate that. So those would be my suggestions if you're looking to kind of romanticize your life or get yourself out of that rut. I actually think that winter is a great time to do that, because everyone's kind of hunkering down, hibernating a bit, and you can really make your space super cozy and warm and inviting with candles and pillows, and things like changing out my bedding in my bedroom has made such a big difference. I now really look forward to my toile flannel sheets. So I think just taking little steps every single day to make your life something that is sparkly and fun would be my suggestion. I wouldn't say that it's my intention always, but I do kind of think I do it subconsciously. Another social media question: how to get more confidence to post on social media? This is a great question. I think that I feel so comfortable with it now because I have done this for so long. So it is definitely a muscle that you can train. I think a lot of times people might be embarrassed if they start off with no followers and their coworkers are seeing it, or maybe their friends or their family. I think if you want something so badly, being embarrassed is not one of the feelings that I feel. I feel a lot of feelings, but embarrassed, oddly, is not one of them. I think when I think of the feelings, I think frustrated sometimes with social media, absolutely. Or sometimes defeated would be one of the words, but embarrassed is not one of them, because I love doing it so much. And just remember that everyone has started somewhere. And if you are posting content that is, authentic to you and well done and, sweet and wholesome and all of those things, then there's nothing that you should feel embarrassed about. And also the people closest to you should support you so much in your posting on social media if they're really supportive of you. So, I think that just go for it and give it a couple months and see how it goes. And if you really feel embarrassed by it and it's stressing you out, then don't do it. But I think after you start doing it and after a bit of time goes by, that embarrassment will wear away. Next question. I feel like this will actually be good because we have a lot of different social media questions. So someone asked, how did you start your business? Let me just make sure I'm still recording. Okay, good. So I started Emily on Bows back when I was in middle school, and I think I was in 7th or 8th grade, and it was at the very start of when Instagram was brand new. So I followed actually a lot of bloggers and girls who posted on YouTube, and I would watch their vlogs and I would follow their blogs, and I wanted to do the exact same thing. So I made a little PowerPoint presentation to my parents, and I, proposed what I wanted to do, and they were a little skeptical because, like I said, this was at the very beginning of social media, so we didn't really know what this whole beast was, and I was pretty young. So I started a YouTube channel in 8th grade, and then I also started my Instagram, and I would take my outfit pictures every single day before school on our driveway. My mom would take them, but she wouldn't let me put my face in the pictures. So I think if you scroll all the way back to the beginning, I just have a bunch of headless pictures of me in these cute little preppy outfits. So that's how the Instagram started. And then I started posting videos on YouTube. I kept that up throughout high school and college. And then in college, as we all know, for me, if you're around my age, it was kind of a crazy time with COVID. So I started making a lot more vlogs when we all got sent home, which was my sophomore year of college. And I really shared a lot more. And then junior year is when I was home for fall break, and I think I was out to dinner with one of my parents, and I said, I've been seeing a lot of YouTubers and people on social media, they've been making merch. And this was at the time when like everyone wasn't starting a brand and everyone wasn't making sweatshirts and stuff. So I actually remember the dinner, we were at one of our favorite French restaurants up at my lake house. And so I started talking about it with my mom and dad, and they were like, that's a great idea. Like, let's see what we can do. So from there, it was my junior year of college. I released my first line of merch, which was Busy Brunching. And that was so much fun because then I ended up having a pop-up shop at Miami. And there was this old abandoned building that was kind of in the center of Uptown, which is where everyone kind of hung out, where the restaurants and bars were. And we brought in all of this furniture, and we had all of the merch, and we just had this pop-up shop on a random Saturday. My parents, my sisters, they all came and they helped. And everybody from Miami was shopping the Busy Brunching collection, and we pretty much sold out of everything that we had ordered. And then I remember just like tons of kids on campus had Busy Brunching hats, and the guys had hats and the girls had sweatshirts. So I had the first pop-up shop there. And then from there, I just kind of started releasing collections throughout college. I think I ended up having 1 or 2 more pop-up shops like my senior year. I think I had 2 more pop-up shops at Miami, and those were so fun. Like one of the pop-up shops, I collaborated with another small business student starting to look for a job, and I had a really great conversation with my parents, and they said, if you want to pursue this full-time, now's the time to do it. So that's kind of how it all came to fruition. I had already started it throughout college and kept it up, and it was really just my creative outlet. And then obviously that second semester, I kind of had like this accelerator business program through the school where my business counted as class credit, and then was supported by the school. And I was in this little cohort of other students who started businesses. Actually, one of the kids who was in my cohort, he was just in the Wall Street Journal for this huge article that I saw so many people reposting. And I'll link it if you want to. He was in my cohort at Miami, and he was so nice. And he was, I think, 2 years younger than me. And he was like running these multi-million-dollar businesses out of his dorm. And I knew at the time, I was like, you are going places, kid. So I really had a great experience with Emily O and Bose throughout high school and college. And that's kind of how the whole business started. And then obviously it's just grown from there the past 3 years, and we have so much more to go. Okay, someone asked, favorite coffee combo at parents' house, cappuccino with whole milk, etc. Their coffee machine is ruining me because it's so good that I have completely changed my palate, and I have such a high bar now for coffee. They have a Miele coffee machine, which is built into the wall, and it is so good, you guys. It's so good. I would say my favorite it's just called a long coffee. So it's just like a classic cup of coffee. I think about it when I go to bed. And then I also love the cappuccino. And then the iced cappuccino that I can make over here I haven't found a coffee shop around here who has a better iced cappuccino or iced coffee than their coffee machine. It is unbelievable. I cannot say enough good things about it. I think that is my favorite, other than my studio, my favorite thing in their house. Okay, somebody asked workout routine / how to keep yourself motivated. Recently, I feel like I've been pretty consistent with it. I keep it very simple. I love to take Pilates classes. And then if I'm not doing that, I have a great gym at my apartment. So I love to walk on the treadmill at an incline. And then recently I've been focusing on trying to tone my arms. So I'll just, go onto TikTok or YouTube and do a quick little arm workout with usually like 5 to 10 pound weights. I think it's just 10 pound weights because I don't think my apartment has 5 pound weights, which really burns after a while. And I love to walk. So that's usually what I do for my workout routine. And if I stay on it, then I usually by the end, I try to work out like 3 to 5 times a week. But again, it just ebbs and flows. It all depends. But I always love to have some sort of activity throughout the day. I will say on days where I film or we're doing packages, I feel like I very much get my steps in. So it's just all about that balance. Okay, so funny because I've actually received a few questions. Apartment future, would you ever want to get a bigger place and create a fun second closet room? And then somebody else asked, do you plan on buying a house in the future or staying in your apartment? So funny, you guys. This kind of just came over me because it was not on my radar at all. But today I actually went and looked at a 2-bedroom in my apartment building. I'm always talking about cleaning out my apartment, and recently I do feel like things have gotten a little tight. So I actually went this morning, looked at a 2-bedroom. It was lovely. And then they're also building these really cool condos next to me, which look interesting. So I don't know what I'm going to do because I've been in my current unit for, let's see, it was a year in August. So a year and a couple months, but I could definitely see some sort of shift happening, whether that be to just a 2-bedroom or I'm not quite sure. But that's so funny you guys asked me that because, see, we're so in sync because just today I was talking to my building and kind of seeing what some other options were because I would love some more space. I would say I would love some more space, and then I could have an office, another filming section. I would have an extra closet. The kitchen was bigger, all of those things. So stay tuned. I could also see me not doing anything for a little bit, but it's just so funny because we were just talking about that today. This is such a sweet question. I've received lots of questions about Baby Bean. So someone said, what's something you want to be for Baby Bean? Example, cool aunt who they go to for fashion. First of all, that's so sweet. We are so excited for Baby Bean. I mean, I can't even handle it. I keep waking up in the middle of the night thinking that she's going into labor, and I check my phone, and I really should just sleep with my phone on, which is not good for you, but I think for the next couple of weeks, just in case, I want to have my phone on. I cannot wait to meet Baby Bean. I am on the edge of my seat. I hope Baby Bean likes me. I really just think that I mean, yes, obviously me and Elizabeth and I will be the cool aunts, but when Baby Bean's maybe a little older, like a toddler or anything like that, I hope that he or she will just, want to hang out with me and want to do things with me and just feel like, I'm someone who they can come to for anything and we can have fun together and, just always just be here for a good time. I think Elizabeth and I will do a great job at smothering that baby so much and just being there for anything that Baby Bean needs and obviously anything that Claire needs after she gives birth. And we are here and we are around. I mean, I've even said, if not that I'm the first person that anyone would call, but since what I do is so flexible, I am around if Baby Bean wants to hang out in the studio in the bassinet. I am here to help in any way, shape, or form. But we are just so excited. It's an amazing feeling. There are lots of questions about my goals. Someone said, I'm sure you have many, but one goal you have for 2026. I would say, and I'm sure everyone, on the show, just because I feel like you're about as close to me as possible if you're listening and watching the podcast. I have a lot of goals for 2026. It's just going to be full speed ahead with Emily Owen Bows and focus so much on growing the brand as quickly as possible, as much as possible. I feel like just in the past couple of months, mostly since I got back from LTKCon, I have seen so much improvement and change in what I had learned there. And then kind of even knowing more, I just feel like in this next year, full speed ahead, I think that it'll be a really, really great year for me and a really great year for the brand. So I do have a lot of goals for 2026 and I'm excited to sit down because we love writing New Year's resolutions and trying to get as specific as possible. So I'm excited to sit down and really get super, super specific with all of my goals. And I think sometimes what happens, at least for me, is I'll go to certain events like LTKCon or like maybe some sort of influencing event, and you kind of get that high, but then it kind of wears off. And I remember when I went to LTKCon, I wrote down specifically not only what I learned, but some of the takeaways that applied directly to me. And I look at those almost every single day now to kind of keep that motivation going. And I do feel like that's also very much helped. So I have lots of goals for 2026. And if there's anything that you guys would love to see from us in 2026, please let me know. I would say very openly that a huge goal of mine is to focus a lot more on the podcast, which we've obviously been doing, but really prioritizing sponsorships and monetization for the show is something that I will be working on as much as I can, because I do think obviously so many people have podcasts, which is so wonderful, but I think it does set me apart slightly. And I love doing it. And I feel like it's something that you can see our family a bit more and personality and stuff. So I'm very much, that's a huge goal of mine, is to work on Bose & Company in 2026 and expand that as much as possible. And honestly, build out the merchandise side of it, because I love doing it. I love moving product. I love, selling like hard goods online. And I really want that to be a bigger part of Emily O and Bose in 2026. And that's why my parents are so amazing, because in days where I'm like, oh my gosh, this isn't working or what's going on, my dad and my mom, but my dad has always said, it takes years to build a brand and it takes 10 years to be an overnight success. Okay, somebody asked Holy Grail makeup products and shades. I have recently started using this amazing, it was sent to me because I did a partnership with them, but I will continue to reorder it. It's a Merit foundation, but feels lighter than a foundation. So I don't know if it's like a CC cream or whatever. I get so many compliments on my skin when I wear it. It's light, it's glowy, it's amazing. It also doesn't really feel like there is anything on my skin, which I love, because I hate that cakey feeling. So I probably started using that like a month and a half ago on top of all the other skincare products that I've been incorporating. So I feel like my skin's in a really great spot. And then when I go to get ready, I obviously use this foundation from Merit. And Merit is also clean beauty, I believe. So it's pretty good for you. And they also have like amazing lip oils. I have this on right now. I actually lost it a week ago when I was out. As I was out, I reordered the lip oil because it's so good. So I feel like I'm in a great place right now with my makeup products. I can link on Bose & Company everything that I've been using, because most of it is from Merit. And like I said, I did a partnership with them and I ended up loving everything that they gifted me, and I've continued using. Oh, this is a sweet question. Tips to feel more feminine and put together. I would say just every single day putting on an outfit that you love. I obviously work from home, but even if you are going into an office, I know that sometimes offices can be pretty casual, or maybe a lot of people aren't dressing up. I love dressing up. I love getting up, having my coffee, putting my makeup on, putting on a cute outfit, and coming over to the studio. I feel like such a little businesswoman, and it sets up my day for success, because you don't know what the rest of the day is going to hold. But if you start off looking and feeling your best, I feel like you can really take on all of those other tasks and just feel great about yourself. And then at the end of the night, I love taking my shower and doing my skincare, and then putting on my pajamas feels so much better, because I've kind of been in those quote unquote work clothes all day, and then it's great to come home and relax. So that would be my tip, is to even just maybe like, I know for the winter it can be hard, but as far as feeling more feminine, like I have this delicious little cashmere sweater on, some sweet sweaters to maybe pull from, or like a pretty coat that just looks nice and you feel great in. I think those are easy ways to kind of incorporate some more feminine pieces into your wardrobe. And just, I think at the end of the day, feeling put together, you will feel your best. This is a really great question. How is the work split between Anne, Laura, and you? I feel like I've never really addressed this, but everybody does have their roles, and they're separate, but then also overlap. So I'll just start with what I do on a day-to-day basis. So obviously I'm always shooting content and sharing content on all of my platforms. So that includes making sure that I'm posting every single day on my Instagram stories, whether that be links, talking stories, pieces that I'm finding, just my everyday life, moments like that. Obviously, I'm always shooting, editing, and posting reels, fashion content, lifestyle content, home decor content. So I'm the one editing all of those items. I'm also pretty consistent on my TikTok. So shooting, editing, coming up with ideas for that. I am the one who is recording and uploading and editing all of my YouTube videos. So I try to get vlogs out as much as possible. And then obviously I edit and record and do everything for the podcast. So that honestly has been taking up a lot of time. And then, editing all of the clips for the podcast clips. So I post those on TikTok, and I post those on my Bose & Company Instagram. And that's really important, because that's how you reach new listeners and new people to come and follow you and kind of find those clippable moments to pull new people in. I also run all of my brand partnerships. So that is especially during the holiday season, that can take up a lot of time. So I do have an amazing manager. So her and I are back and forth every single day, talking to the brands, making selections, going over briefs, turning in concepts, obviously that I'm editing and recording and sending that to her. And then sometimes they have notes. So you have to make those adjustments and making sure that everything is linked correctly for that. And then obviously emails are always coming in with offers. Emails are always coming in with gifting options. So kind of sifting through that. And then a lot of questions come in about our merchandise products. So I will, either forward that to my mom or I'll answer that myself. DMs are a huge beast in itself. I'm always trying to answer as many DMs as possible. And yeah, that's what I'm doing on a day-to-day basis. And then brainstorming with Anne, obviously, if I see something, I'm sending it to her. My mom, she does I don't actually think you guys realize how much my mom does. Like she's a machine. She does so much. So I would say runs all of the merchandise. She is usually the one who is, obviously we all work together on designing the collections, but she is typically the one who sources all the products and who works with either, the custom vendors or the wholesale vendors and really sees the product through the entire process and finishes that up. And she is also the one who packages all of the merchandise orders. So she is really involved with that. And then she helps me on a day-to-day basis when it comes to linking. She makes mood boards. She helps me when I'm recording my reels. She steams clothes. She picks out clothes. She is always coming up with new ideas for, a little DIY or a hosting segment. Obviously we wrote the book together and she really spearheaded the book as well. And she most recently just finished up our children's books. And she did that fully on herself. So she is, we're going to UPS together almost probably 3 times a week. So that's her department. And then Laura mainly works on mood boards and she also runs our Poshmark. So that's mostly what she does right now. She's heavy on gift guides. She is also, she's really great at Poshmark. And then sometimes she will update our Amazon storefront and our Shop My. So that's kind of the job descriptions of everyone. It's a wonderful time in the Bow Studio. Okay. Someone asked, what is on your Christmas and birthday wish list? I love this question. The main thing is a new coffee maker, which I really cannot figure out because I want the Breville, but then it just came to my attention that you can really only make espresso with the Breville. I think you can make an Americano, but I really want a nice new coffee maker for my apartment. And then I would love a new nice bracelet of sorts. I don't really have anything specific in mind, but I would love like a nice new bracelet. So those are, and like new pajamas I put down. I think that was pretty much it. My mom is such a good gift giver and she knows this so well that she really, unless there's something super specific, I feel like she usually does a great job of finding everything. And she's the only person that I want. Sometimes I actually just want her to pick it out because I feel like she knows what I want more than I know what I want. Oh, this is a sweet question. Somebody asked, are you nervous to hold baby Bean? Obviously you warm right up, but newborns can be intimidating. I was just thinking about that because I really cannot remember the last time I have held a newborn. So I feel like at first I am going to be so shocked at how small baby Bean is. And I obviously don't want to do anything wrong. So I could see myself, now that you've mentioned it, being a little intimidated at first, but then I'm just going to want to snuggle so much with baby Bean. And I feel like I just will not be able to get enough of baby Bean. So I'm sure I will warm right up. But that's so funny because my mom was washing a little Christmas onesie that she got for baby Bean. And then somebody said, oh, baby Bean will probably be smaller than this onesie. And I'm like, how much smaller can the baby get? So I think at first I will be very shocked at how tiny the baby will be. Okay, somebody asked, what's it like being single in Cleveland? I feel like it's the same as how it would be in any other city. I feel like it's just what you make of it. And recently, I feel like we've been just doing so many fun things and running around. And I think it's all about your mindset. And so right now I'm having a great time being with friends, and going out with Elizabeth has been so much fun now that she's home in post-grad, and just finding those spots that you feel are chic and fun. So, I think that it's just like being single anywhere else. It's really what you make of it. I think in a big city, it's hard. I think in a small city, it's hard. Also in a big city, it can be amazing. And in a small place, it can also be amazing. So I think it's all just about perspective. Okay, so I think that is going to be today's episode. Hopefully this was not too boring. I feel like it's definitely a little different just speaking by yourself on a podcast. For people who have solo podcasts, I commend you because it's definitely a little bit more difficult. But I think it's great to sprinkle these in because, like I said, I don't want to make this show a burden for everybody in my family. I still want want them to want to come on to Bows & Company. So also, I just wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who has entered into our little giveaway. So many of you have DM'd me and reached out saying that you have shared it with your friends and your family, sending screenshots or text messages. It seriously meant so much to me, and I love the little telephone chain letter that we're doing. And I will be announcing the giveaway winner of our Amazon gift card on Sunday on my stories on Bows & Company. So if you missed Tuesday's episode, basically if you share the podcast and the show with a friend and you just send me a DM, you will be entered into a $100 gift card in an effort to spread the word, grow the show, all of the above. So that is still continuing, and I really so appreciate you all taking the time, because I know that takes a minute to send it to somebody else, but it's so wonderful to see. So we will be back next week on Tuesday. I'm so excited for my little birthday party this weekend. Be sure to follow me on all my socials to see all of the fun decor and kind of details that we bring for that. I hope you guys have a great rest of your week, a fabulous weekend, and remember that everything is in fact better with a bow. Bye-bye now.